What's going on?
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. I'll be better when we get to Alabama.
Everybody ready? Ty, kind of on that note, what's it going to be like to go back home this week?
Yeah, I mean, very excited. Obviously, they recruited me a little bit out of high school, so I'm familiar with their coaching staff and some of their players. But it's just going to be surreal whenever I kind of get out there playing in front of my high school friends who will be in the student section for them, and then a bunch of my family members who are coming to the game. It'll be really fun.
Did you grow up a Bama fan? Did you go to games growing up?
I did go to some games, but more so like when they were recruiting me, not really as a fan. Yeah.
More of an Auburn guy?
I would say neither. Okay. Neither. Yeah, I'm not too huge. I mean, I do like Alabama football though. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's very special. Something I've always dreamed of. I'm very excited to kind of get there, and obviously the nerves will be a little different for this game, but just kind of trusting all the work and the process that we've put in. It'll be a surreal moment for sure.
You knew that this game was going to be there when you committed. I guess how thrilled are you that you had a chance to actually be on the court in
Right.
action, this early and
Yeah.
presumably for this game too?
I would say, I mean, just very excited. Like I've already mentioned, super thankful and blessed to be able to do it with the guys that we have and playing for Coach Mack and the best coaching staff here. So I'm glad I'm rolling with the Jays and not the Tide this weekend for sure.
It's obviously the game itself is obviously a pretty big game. First true road game for you guys, the team, and your first true road game of your college career. What do you expect in Tuscaloosa on Saturday?
From those games that I have been at, that place will be rocking. They'll have their hard hats on. They are getting out for winter break, so I'm not sure if that'll affect the crowd much. But I know that they're not big fans of Creighton, so it'll be a big game for sure. It'll be loud in there.
Is it you were kind of down there. You kind of know. Is it a rivalry?
Yeah, for some reason, I think it is a little bit of a rivalry. But I think we're 3-0 against them, right? Yeah. So hopefully we keep that going.
Mac talked about how it's going to be some lineups that people haven't seen before. You guys are doing a lot of tinkering now, losing
Right.
Bob. Kind of what's your mindset going in, knowing like you're going to have to step up and might have a bigger role?
Yeah, I'll say just kind of approaching every game like I always have, and just kind of being prepared when my number's called, whether that's the 1, 2, or the 3. Because obviously losing Pop, one of our best players, it's a hard hit for us. But just I feel like everyone's kind of came together and realized like if we're gonna do this, we got to do it together. So just kind of taking that similar approach every day and knowing like when my number's called, I got to be able to produce at whatever spot I'm in.
So you do some scout work over there. What stands out about Alabama's backcourt?
Man, they're really good. They got a lot of guys who can play. I'm friends with one of the freshman kid, Phylon. He's from Alabama as well. So I grew up with him. He's changed his game a lot. He's a really good player. And then obviously Mark Sears, one of the best guards in the country. But I've got faith in our game plan and trust in our game plan. And I know that we'll be ready to go at 7:30 on Saturday night.
Mountain Brook off that day?
They are. So actually, they play tomorrow night. They play in Tuscaloosa. So after we land and kind of do our deal, I'm going to try to go over there and watch that. That'll be fun.
How special is that going to be for you to have your dad and the rest of your family?
Yeah, that'll be really special because with him being a high school coach and my brother and my sister being in their seasons right now, it's hard for everyone to kind of make the trip out here. So that game being so close to home, it'll be a good, cool experience for everyone.
The last few weeks for you guys.
Yeah.
Lots of highs, lots of lows. How have you guys handled that as a team?
Yeah, I think just coming together and trusting in our leaders like Steven and Ryan, they do a great job of leading everybody. Obviously, Coach Mack and all of our coaching staff, they've got trust in us, and they know that we all know that. I mean, the adversity is part of the game. So just kind of leaning on what we learned back in June, and then over the course of the summer and through the preseason, just kind of like leaning on that and going back to everything that we've learned. We know that we'll be ready. Awesome. Thank you all. Yep.
Freshman year.
It's been a little different than most other weeks that we have in between games, usually we get a few practices to work on ourselves. This week we've been a little banged up, so Mac gave us a little more time to like rest and recover and get those injuries taken care of. So a little bit of a lighter week in that sense.
How was the toy drive?
It was awesome. It was awesome. Man, I was worried that no one would come, and then I think we ended up with about 200 toys, and then that's not even counting the extra donations we got. So last night we got to go get $1,800 worth of toys to add on to that 200. So we were able to add a lot for that.
Or was that something you wanted to be involved with?
I've been wanting to do something like that for a while. It's just never come together. It's either hasn't come together. I haven't thought of it, but it was perfect now because now my wife's working with Abide, so that connection just made it a lot easier to pull something like that off.
With Alabama, how much do you personally love playing these?
I mean, that's what I think any college basketball player wants, is to go play a great competition, especially, on the road is obviously a challenging environment, but it's also really fun at the same time because, at some point they're going to make a run in the game and you're going to hear the whole crowd like yelling and it's going to feel like the stadium's falling in on top of you. But, once you get used to that after 5 years, it's actually more fun than it is intimidating.
How important is it for this team that's had adversity after adversity for the first 6 weeks of the season, month of the season, to go to a true road environment and see what you guys can do in that type of situation?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Obviously, we got off to a decent start to the year, but didn't play anyone like too high up, and then we got to some higher level games and we kind of stumbled a little bit, and now we're putting it back together. But going on the road and beating the top 10 team would definitely show we're on the right path to putting everything together.
Of course, adversity is a part of the game, but how have you guys been handling it? What's just the message?
I mean, I think for anything we do, whether we're having success or whether we're finding ourselves in some trouble, we're always process oriented. So whether we win a game, whether we lose a game, we're always doing the same things and working the same level of intensity. Like, we're not going to freak out when we lose. We know that we all work hard. We know we're here about the right things, and we're going to put together good game plan going into the next one. The same way when we win a big game, we're not going to take it easy and light because we won one and we think we got it all put together. So I think that's just key for any ups and downs this season, is always staying consistent.
Alabama's top 10 in tempo in the country.
Yeah.
What's the key to defending a team like that likes to run so much?
You just gotta have your antennas up at all times. I mean, on a turnover, on a made basket, they're pushing it. So you can't make a three or make a good play and then celebrate. You got to make a good play and then run back on defense. So I think that's a big thing. I mean, obviously they're really good at it, so they're going to get you a few times, but not panicking and staying with the system is going to be big for that.
I kind of off the wall when I saw that you had these
Yeah.
customs. How did that come together? And also to work with an Omaha guy for that too.
Yeah, first off, he did an amazing job with those shoes. I mean, I was blown away by how good he did. But as people know, I'm not on the social media, so he actually was DMing with my wife about what we could do to make that happen. So traded a signed ball and jersey for some shoes, and I think it worked out pretty good for me because those are sick.
Anything else? Thanks, Ryan.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
On the road this weekend, how big of a test is that going to be for your guys' first true road game?
Yeah, you find out a lot. We haven't played in that environment. Obviously, it's going to be a great environment on Saturday night. I think Alabama, from a talent perspective, is one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country, and they just keep bringing guys at you off the bench. And they've done an unbelievable job of assembling that roster. They're a heck of a team.
How different are they than last year, or are they any different?
I think Cliff inside gives them some rim protection that maybe they didn't have last year. But Sears is still playing at a high level, and we fully anticipate to see Chris Youngblood, who's could end up being one of their better players that hasn't played yet. So we played against him when he was at Kennesaw as a freshman and sophomore here before he transferred to South Florida, and he was a player of the year in that league last year. So we're anticipating that he'll be healthy and ready to play, and that provides another challenge.
I know it hasn't felt like a silver lining, but now that Pop is out, having those guys get extra reps, is that benefiting you guys now as you're preparing?
I mean, you hope so. In some of the game experience against UNLV, especially Isaac and Jason, really went out and did some good things on both ends of the floor. So, for their confidence as we move forward, that's huge. And Shane and Ty both got out there as well, and Mason's trying to start at a position he hasn't played that much. So there's going to be we've got the learning curve's still pretty steep for us. But in finals week's a hard time to correct anything because the guys obviously are on the move and their sleep schedules, our practice schedules all over the map. And for some reason we have 7 finals on Friday morning, which is that's kind of a painful thing to do at the end of a semester. So we won't get out of here till later tomorrow afternoon.
With so much adversity the last month, how is your message
I mean, we talk all the time about preparing yourself for the unexpected, and the unexpected can come in a lot of ways. It could come in a position change. It could come in the role that you're playing in the minutes that you play. Because of an injury or an illness or foul trouble, there's a lot of different things that can happen, and our expectation that our guys are ready. Now, having said all that, there's not a lot of teams playing freshmen in the country, and we're 3 of them were on the floor against UNLV the other day, and my guess is all 3 of them are going to play at Alabama on Saturday.
Like you guys have dealt with injuries in the past. You had Mo, and then R2 got hurt right before the tournament 2 years ago, right? But do you draw anything back from those to help you get?
I mean, it's different, I think, at that stage of the season because it's really hard to, R2's was with 6 or 7 games left. I think WAP, we were 18-1 or something at the time, so we still had part of the season left. But in both cases, R2 gets hurt and Trey's a freshman, and he replaces him when Maurice got hurt. Davion Mintz was a freshman, so you replaced him with some young guys, and that was just the makeup of the roster at the time. So I don't know if you learn from it. I don't think it becomes any less painful when you lose a guy for the season. That's pretty important to what you're doing.
How important does that make a guy like Ty? You mentioned him a few minutes ago, but just his role as a freshman and him being able to step up early.
Yeah, he's gotten better, especially on the defensive end, and in some areas that maybe don't show on the stat sheet. He's making significant improvement, and it'd be fun for him to go back to Alabama to play. But we're gonna have to rely on him. He's going to need to play a pretty significant role in this team, and he brings some things offensively that Shane doesn't bring to the table, and Shane brings some things defensively that Ty doesn't. So they're both going to be part of the rotation. Just going to depend on the situation.
Time for one more.
Jeremiah Neal, just the way he stepped up last Saturday. What are conversations been like with him to kind of get?
Yeah, I mean, really since camp started, it's just with Jemiah, it's just like consistency. Learn to do it every single day, every single rep, every single practice, and then it'll just happen in the games. And I think we're moving that direction. We're asking a lot of him right now because, Pop was kind of the secondary ball handler. He and Steven kind of handled it about the same amount of time. And now Jemiah's going to have to be someone that has the ball in his hands and is making decisions a little bit more. So making sure he's making good decisions when he has the basketball, and obviously defensively, we're asking him to do a lot.
Favorite Christmas movie?
Favorite Christmas movie?
Or song, whichever. If it feels strong.
I was probably a big fan of The Grinch, back in the day, and try not to be a Grinch this year. You're dressed like a Grinch today.
Thanks, man.
You got it.